Hello and welcome to Loving Me, Myself, and Life with me, Jody Misiak. Today, let's talk about self-discipline. One of my biggest focuses this year is to be more disciplined with myself. It's not about being hard on myself or critical. It's a balance of loving myself, being honest with myself, and showing up for myself. Leaving the excuses behind and showing up. So when I say something, I do it. And, that involves, having a morning routine and sticking with it. Sticking with my writing every morning and staying away from sugar. And it's needing to make sure that my will is bigger than my excuses. Because let's face it, it's so easy sometimes to be making excuses. Like, oh, I just don't feel like it today. Or, oh, it's raining. I just want to cuddle in bed. And, there's definitely days to do that. And that's why I mean it's a balance of loving yourself and really just being committing to yourself. I think of it a little bit as when you make a commitment to have a dentist appointment or a doctor's appointment, anything that you've had to schedule for a while and you've been waiting and it's hard to reschedule. For me, at least personally, when it's in my calendar, unless I can't get in my driveway because we did have a storm, I couldn't get out for a while there for a day or two, I'm going to show up. So I don't know about you, but that's, it's making a commitment with somebody else. We usually show up. So for me now, it's focusing on, I need to show up for me. So how do you do this? Self-discipline. Well, first off, like I said, it's a balance because it's about being gentle with yourself, but at the same time, not coming up with excuses why not to do it. Do whatever it is that you would like to do with your day. And for me personally, I'll share a couple of my things that I've started to do this year. Now, I've had this love-hate relationship with vision boards. I love them. And at the same time, I look at them going, why would I spend hours making a vision board when I could spend hours doing something that will get me closer to my dreams and goals? However, because I've had a little lower motivation lately after, going through my whole candida overgrowth kind of deal, I am leaning on vision boards this year. I have one in my office. I put a bulletin board up. And instead of spending hours, I've started with some things. And like I said, I'm not against them at all because I actually created a movie vision board where I actually put together slides and listen to it every morning. And I'd like to get back to that too because it has cool music and things. I just need to update that. And that does take a little longer. However, I have a board. I've put some words on there, things, and I will slowly add to it as I feel inspired. And I've realized that I really need to see something visual right now. To go over there and be like, right, this is why I'm doing this. Show up, Jody. Do it. Stay away from sugar so you can, stay mentally focused. For now, right now, if the moment I have sugar, I have brain fog and fatigue. It not instantly, but if I have a little bit, then it has a vicious cycle. So as I heal my candida overgrowth, which is still, as I record this at the end of January, I'm still working on that healing process. However, I now know if I stay away from sugar, I can live a really good, awesome life. So as long as I go there, I'm good. So anyways, vision boards, because visual reminders are wonderful. So I'm always really been good about goals. So it's just making sure I look at them when I get into my office and they're written down on my wall and just reminding myself, why do I want to show up? Why do I want to stay away from sugar? Why do I want to do my morning routine? And sometimes it's knowing how you feel when you don't do those things or when you do those things in my case. I know how crappy I feel having sugar. So right now, oh man, it's there in my forefront. And I know that I'm going to stay away. Because just after a week of eliminating sugar, again, for my life, after going through the winter break, and then we had a really cold snap where I just had hot chocolate and things that, are cozy when it's snowing. I really didn't feel good. So, and now after a week of not having any sugar, that includes from fruits, I have felt so much better. So anyways, visual reminders. And it's also about compassion, being loving with yourself through the process. So if I slip up and I have a moment where I eat sugar, instead of beating myself up, I'll be like, right, I want to stay away from this so I can feel good. It's getting back into your why, looking at your goals, realizing why you want to do these things in the first place. My morning routine right now consists of yoga and meditation. And eventually I'll be adding in more things. And it's like, well, why do I want to do these things? Well, I feel good after. It really inspires and motivates me to move forward throughout my day with love and just so much more energy. And then another thing is being mindful of your weaknesses or understanding where your weaknesses are. Like, do you distract yourself with TV? Here's a fun fact. What I would do, and I know this isn't great, so here it is though. I'm sharing it with you because it's real. The past month, what I would do is I'd sit down at my desk and enjoy my coffee and either watch like a TV show on my computer, or I would wait till lunch and eat my lunch at my desk. I know, not so good, and watch a show on it. And then what would happen is I get so invested in the show, and let's face it, some shows are 43 minutes long. So I would take a longer lunch than I really needed. And anyways, so I stopped that. I made a commitment to myself to not put my computer on unless it's for work. And when I'm having coffee, if I want to listen to something, it will be a book on Audible, and I'll listen to that while I'm enjoying my coffee. I do like to read or learn something while I'm having coffee, but sometimes it's hard to juggle a book. Some of my books are a little large right now, so holding a cup of coffee and reading. So listening to something motivating is a really good thing as well. So it's finding what works, but also knowing where your weaknesses are. And I know I would like all of a sudden watch TV all day. That does not, one, lead to a productive day. And then at the end of the day, if you're not productive or you haven't got things done, then you don't feel good. And then that's when, you're hard on yourself. Or at least for me, it's like, oh man, what did I do with my day? So it's knowing your weaknesses. What distracts you? I have apps on my phone that block, like they just shut down from a certain time frame. So from morning until my workday is over, most of the apps that would be distracting. So, Prime Video, Netflix, all those things. Even I had the weather app for the longest time because it kept popping up. So if you find any app on your phone distracting, just block it for a time period. Like, really use technology to your advantage here. And it's a well-being app that I have on my phone. I just set it. It also has where I put it to sleep. Now it doesn't like shut down or anything in case I do need it, but it goes black and white. So if I pick my phone up after the time that I know that I don't want to be on my phone, which I've scheduled a couple hours before bed, I'll look at it and go, oh, it's in black and white. I should be relaxing and not being on my phone anymore. So it's kind of like a mental thing. So it's really just knowing where you need a little extra support and then looking into tools and things that can support you in that area. Now, and then also some people might find music distracting, but I actually use music as a motivator to get me going. Like, so if I'm kind of in a funk in the morning or I just don't have that much energy, it's usually, especially once I've gone down the sugar route, I will put music on. Put it on in the bathroom when I'm getting ready in the morning, or in my office when I'm getting ready to record or work and do different things. So it's finding what weaknesses you have, but also what motivates you, what helps you get motivated. And like I've mentioned, listening to something. And here you are right now listening to this podcast episode. So way to go. listening to something that might help and / motivate you and inspire you. Another thing that I've found very, very helpful in self-discipline, after knowing what your goals are, having them written down, I love having a calendar. Now, I do actually have one on my computer, but I use it just to see bigger pictures. And I have so many calendars. I'm going to be honest here. I have a whiteboard calendar on my wall in my office to break it down for the whole year. So I can see how much I'm working, when I'm taking time off with my kids and stuff. And it was really eye-opening because I was struggling to fit so much in. And I was like, why can I not get enough done? And then I wrote down all the pro D days, the holidays, the time I was taking off for this and that. And I was like, oh, that's why. So it's just being mindful of your time and what you want to prioritize. And then being gentle with your, because I'm like, oh, okay, I need to be realistic with what I can do in a year and in a month and things like that. So I'd be realistic with myself as well. Anyways, but to get back to the planner, I have a paper one and I do have a computer. I don't put all my appointments in my computer, but I do have everything, and I'll sit down with my paper planner because I go old school that way. I love it. I love having, even reading, I have paper books. Anyways, I write down, and I really like doing it on a Sunday. And if I don't get it done on the weekend, Monday morning, I will sit down and plan out the week. What does my week look like? What do I want to prioritize this week? And then I even take it a step further, and every month on my wall calendar, I have one main goal. Just one. I'm sure I'll get more done, but the biggest project, the biggest thing I want to get done that month is at the top of the month. And it's prioritizing. And like I said, one of the biggest things is my to-do list. I love having it written down because once you know what you need to do or what you want to do, it doesn't feel so overwhelming. I find if I don't write it down, I get overwhelmed by how much needs to get done. And then I don't do anything because I'm overwhelmed. So I make a to-do list for my family, like for family household things, and I make a list for business, for work. And that way I have my work hours and my family hours. I really try to keep those different and separate the best I can. Because if, it's that multitasking, doing too much all at once, and it also can get overwhelming. So some of the time we don't follow through on something because we get overwhelmed, burnt out, exhausted, or just frustrated because nothing's getting done because there's so much to get done. So it's focusing on a few things. And one of the really cool tricks of doing this if you feel overwhelmed is getting Post-it notes, or I have these cue cards that are on a spiral thing that you can rip out, and you write down one thing on the top. And then the next thing underneath, you turn it over and write the next thing. So you only see the first thing that you're doing. So if to-do lists, if you look at it, it's this is too long and it gets overwhelming. Break it down to one thing at a time. You can also take it even further and think about action plans. So maybe you have a big thing on your to-do list and it feels so overwhelming. Maybe it's declutter your house. It's oh my gosh, there's so many areas. Have an action plan. Write down all the areas you want to declutter and then just start with one. And I find once you get one thing off your list, especially if it's small but powerful, if it's you can feel it, say let's go with the decluttering concept. It's something that's been driving you crazy because you see it every day. Take care of that first. And the moment you do that, you feel better because your space is cleaner. It's less cluttered. And then it is a snowball effect. And you're like, ooh, that felt good. And then you do the next thing and the next thing. And it's called momentum. The more you do something, the easier it gets because you're in that flow of like, yes, like this feels good. When it feels good, it's easier to do. Doesn't mean you still have to work at it. You still don't have to work at it, but it's flowing. So it's coming up with a to-do list or an action plan or both, whatever works for you. And a big one here is, especially for self-discipline, is get accountability in your life. If you want to walk more, or, in my case, like do yoga. I love yoga and I'm making it a daily practice. And actually in a couple days, actually next week, as I'm recording this, I am going away to a yoga teacher retreat to really strengthen my teaching yoga teacher skills. And I've always felt that in doing something like that, you also get a chance to learn more about yourself. So I'm going to do some deep, awesome learning for myself and for others, for, passing on my yoga teaching. And it's just going to be so beautiful. I get to be away, out in nature, and I get nature here too, but like I really get to be away and step out of my comfort zone. Anyway, so yoga is a big one for me, but if you have something you want to create, like a new habit, a new routine, having somebody in your life hold you accountable. You can even text them and be like, hey, I'm doing this right now. You can have a walking buddy, a workout buddy. Now, I do need to add this in because in my experience, this only works if the other person is as dedicated as you. I used to have a gym buddy when I was in college, and I always went to the gym. I didn't need a buddy, but she did. And I was totally cool with it. I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. Like, let's be gym buddies. And, after like a week or so, she didn't show up anymore. So, but I did. So it's about making sure that your accountability partner is actually hold you accountable, or it works for you. And there's nothing wrong with somebody going, okay, this isn't working for me. And then you just have to readjust. That's totally cool. And once you get in a habit of going and doing something too, it will become stronger. So you might not need that accountability partner all the time either. So just keep that in mind. But having somebody hold you accountable, share your goals and your plans with others. Write it down and share it though. Hold yourself accountable, but also, it can be easier when you have somebody else rooting for you as well. We can't always be our own cheerleaders because there'll be days where we want to give up. And if we don't have somebody else going, you can do it, then we have to rely on ourselves, be like, you can do it. And, having more people cheer you on is always better. So have accountability partners or, and just share your dreams and things like that. Also, a big one that I've discovered in my own personal experience is about perspective. Things show up in our life. So it's having that mindset. Like my morning routine will go upside down if all of a sudden one of my kids is homesick. So it's like, okay, doing this and then going back to me. But it's also like if you stumble, like I stumbled over the winter break. I thought, I'm going to keep up with my yoga in the morning. And I think I did for a while, and then it just slowly crumbled. That's what it was. I got a cold because I didn't take care of myself before winter break. I was burning the candles on all ends. So it's being self-compassionate again when you stumble and fall. Picking yourself back up, brushing yourself off. We all make mistakes. We all stumble at times. And it's just being like, okay, that happened. Making peace with that. And then picking yourself up and moving forward again. And learning from it. So for me, I'm like, okay, next Christmas, I will be doing things differently. Every year I learn a little something different from each time my kids are home. And it's stuff I can learn and take with me when it's spring break and over the summer. So it's like, okay, let's get back on track and learn from this. So it's learning about things, changing your perspective. Not every day is going to be perfect. And it's just about showing up and trying your best. And every day your best might be different. So just showing up and doing what you can in that moment, whatever that looks like to you. So again, self-compassion without making excuses, because those are easy. And once you start, they just kind of keep going. They snowball. Like, oh, I'm just too tired today. And then the next day, I'm tired. And then after a week of not doing, for me, it'd be, let's go with yoga. Well, I forgot how good yoga feels, right? Like after you don't do something for a while, you can forget how awesome, aka your why, you're doing it in the first place. And one thing I like to add is there are days where I don't want to get on my yoga mat, but I roll it out anyways. And then all of a sudden I start doing yoga. And I'm like, at the end of it, I'm like, oh, I did it. The hardest part is starting. Let me repeat that. The hardest part is starting. And this is for so many things. Working out, going for a walk, yoga, anything, sitting down and writing, decluttering. Oh my goodness, I can't stand clutter, but there are times where I don't feel like doing it. Or cleaning. It's like, oh man, that bathroom needs to be cleaned. It's like, I don't want to clean it. But the moment I start, all of a sudden it's done. So starting is the hardest part, at least for me. So it's figuring out, how do you start? Because once you start, it's pretty flowy. Usually. Not always, but sometimes. So figuring out how to start. What do you need to help you get started? Don't forget to forgive yourself. Like that goes in with making mistakes and learning from them. There are so many times where I've like, oh man, just like I mentioned earlier, I just came off of sugar I've been, sugar-free for a week again. And I feel so much better. But I'm like, why didn't I do this sooner? Why did I suffer so long? Why did I waste a whole month because I didn't feel good? I can't stay in that. Why didn't I do this sooner? I have to feel it and then let it on go. Because it happened. I can't go back and change it, but I can learn from it. So I'm hoping that now that I've experienced that again, and it was so painful, that I can really hopefully learn this time. Because sometimes, we learn, but then we don't learn, after a while. Anyways, forgive so you can move forward. If you're hanging on to what you did yesterday, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, it's going to keep you stuck in the past instead of moving towards your dreams and your goals and the best version of yourself. So forgive and learn what you can and take with it, what you learned into the future, into the present moment, really. And last but not least, what I want to talk about is having a backup plan. So say your day goes askew. Or for me, I really try to have a plan in place for when my kids are home because my routine is different. And mind you, I always learn that, or find if I want to do my morning routine, I stay upstairs and I finish it before I come down. My kids are old enough that they need me, they'll come find me, or they'll go find my husband who's working as well. Anyway, so it's knowing what you can do, but also having a backup plan. So I have usually plans in place when I know my life is going to change a little bit. My routine's going to change. But it's also just having what happens when life kind of throws you curveballs? What do you do? How do you stay motivated to keep working on your goals? So just thinking about okay. And I personally wouldn't spend too long on here because we can't predict everything that's going to happen in our life. Not even close. But it's just having an okay backup plan. What happens if you get off track? Because like I said, it's so easy. One day off track, it's okay. It's fairly easy to get back on track the next day after that. if you've been doing something for a little while. But after a couple days of not doing something, the longer away you are from doing whatever that might be, walking, yoga, meditating, journaling, the harder it is to get back into it again. Because then you're further away from like why you feel good in the first place. Like I think of working out too. I love moving my body because after moving it, I just feel so good, so energized. So it's remembering that why. And we can forget our why when we let it go for so long. So again, think about a backup plan. Don't stay there again though too long. Because like I said, you could have a backup plan for everything that could go wrong. But just have like a small idea, like what do you do for you when you get off course? Maybe you have a day where you just send yourself extra love. Recommit to your goals. Write them down again. Get grounded in your why. And then make peace with what went wrong. And the next day make a commitment to do it again and start over. Self-discipline can be a tricky thing. But with love and compassion and dedication to yourself and commitment to yourself and knowing that you matter will help you to stay committed to what you would like in your life, to your dreams, to what makes you feel good, what fills you up, and really set your day off on the right foot or end your day on the right foot. Because bedtime, I've been talking about morning routines, but evening routines are just as important. Anyways, I hope this has helped. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful for you. You matter. And what you wish to create with your life and the person you are right now, you are amazing and you're doing the best you can. So, congratulate yourself with that. And you showed up today and listened to this. So thank you for that. If you would like more resources, you can find them over on my website at jodymisiak.com. And I would love to, connect with you. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful day. Bye for now.